Welcome back to the show. I'm your girl, Jasmine Venjuda, and you're watching Relate with Venjuda. Today, I am super excited about what we're going to talk about because, child, listen, I have been waiting. Today, my guest is Kumasi Nyami. How are you?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I am doing good.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. You look pineapple-y.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to still be in my,
The only fruit I'm allergic to.
Oh, yeah?
So sad. I can't eat it. So today, child, we're going to talk about society pressures and imposter syndrome. So the reason why I chose this topic because I noticed that a lot of people do certain things just to please certain people. They don't do things just for their sake or they're not living their true self. So I wanted us to talk about it because I feel like it will help so many people just be themselves, just be. What is your take on society pressures?
First and foremost, I think, everything I'm going to say is my opinion, I cannot speak people's opinions. So it might be right, it might be wrong. I think that society is always going to be there. Society pressures are always going to be there. But it depends on how we handle it.
Okay.
Society can force you. And when we say society, sometimes it looks like it's far away.
No. It's
like,
the people closest to us,
yes,
too.
Yes. There's something called wedding.
Oh, boy.
You see, women don't want us to talk about that. There's something called wedding.
Yep.
Society can push you into a wedding.
Oh, and in debt.
But not in the marriage.
Preach, brother.
So it push you in that situation. You spend a lot of money for nothing. Society. Society can also tell us that, this is how a woman's supposed to be. This is what a man is supposed to do. Your society. Sometimes it could help, sometimes it could be bad. So I just look at it like society basically inform everything that we do. Our thoughts and everything is formed around our societies. But how does it help you? Choose the one that helps you and ignore the ones that don't help you.
Hey, you preached right there. One thing I noticed, I remember graduating in high school. You know how, when you're a kid, everybody's like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a pharmacist. I used to say I want to be an anesthesiologist and a pharmacist. Why? Because I wanted to please family members. Because my siblings were like, I want to be an engineer. I want to be at this. And I was sitting there like, what do I really want to be? I didn't know what I wanted. I was one of the people that didn't know what I wanted to be when I was graduating. I just knew I always knew I was going to be a very powerful, outspoken woman. I just didn't know who I wanted to be. And so I remember graduating high school. My mom was like, the way you're caring, you're nice. You should be a nurse. I literally wrote the exam for nursing school. I wrote everything that you have to, the one I was about to do, you had to write an entrance exam, and then you had to write other things. I passed everything. When it was time to start, I remember the day I called my mom, and I was like, listen, this is not for me. I can't do needles. I can't do it. I'm going to be an actress. And child, listen, my entire generation called me. I had aunties and uncles, and I almost fell into the trap. I was like, you know what? Let me just go to nursing school after. And it was more of so you can get a job.
Yeah.
I was like, let me go to nursing school and then get a job, make my mom happy. And I have noticed that there are so many people now in careers that they're not fulfilled, but they're just in there because they want to please a father. They want to please a wife. They want to please somebody, People are suffering because of society pressures. What is your take?
Man,
the way
I feel like you were just speaking on my behalf. So when I was a kid, I've always been the lawyer.
Ooh.
Like I'm the principal guy who always wants things to be in a specific way that most people hate. Know that guy?
I'm the woman version of that guy.
Yeah, that is me. And then, life changes, and I came to America. Never lived with my father. Never knew my father until I was like 16. He lost me to death. I know he does. He brought me here, and I came in, and all of a sudden, I have to be a doctor, pharmacist, or something like that. Because and I think I'm not gonna say this, that I think my dad my dad, he was looking out for my best interest. You know, he's looking at it like, I want my son to go into something that he can make a living out of it, where there's job guarantee. There's always going to be money for him and his kids and his family. You know, that's where my father is looking at. But the other side of this whole thing is nobody looks at you, your potentials. Can you do that?
Thank you.
You know, I don't blame family when they tell their awards or they tell their friends or whatever that, hey, you should do this. I think you should do that. I don't blame them. You know, because nobody knows you better than you. They can only, it's an offer. I have a problem when you say you cannot do that and then they get mad.
Oh, you know when they guilt trip you? The whole guilty thing. Oh, if you don't do it, it's like you don't, they make you feel like you're useless. Yeah. You're not part of us. You know, you don't love yourself. We know the statement. I know you better than you know yourself. It bothers me so much.
Yeah, that's family. That's family. But guess what? Like you say, you chose to be an actress.
Yes, I'm doing good.
Let's say tomorrow you have the biggest film in the market. They're gonna hail you like a queen.
Preach on, Pastor.
You see, family always want family to succeed. That is the goal. They always wanna. And in their, I would say, narrow mindset, they think you have to succeed in how they see it. You know, to be success. You know, people have the way of defining their success. You know, to be successful, they look at it like, this is the way that you can be successful. This is the way that people can respect you. You know what I'm saying? That's how they look at it. Oh, my mother want to be able to point to this house, that company, that car, that's my son's. That's all she wants. She doesn't want anything from me. She just want to be able to say that my son did that. You know, that's all.
But don't you feel like a lot of times, I understand your point if they want to make sure that we are okay and, you know, we are taken care of. Don't you feel like a lot of times they are pushing, since we're talking about parents, I don't want it to focus on parents, but don't you feel like, besides parents, like family people or people around us, aunties, cousins, because my cousins have opinions, child. But all of them, don't you feel like they are pushing their dreams on you?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Because a lot of times, one thing I have noticed when it comes to my cousins, I am more of like the outspoken one. I'm saying what's on my mind. You don't like it? Well, you and Jesus can fight about it. So because they cannot do it, they a lot of times push a lot of things that they wish they can say on me to say it. Right? Don't you feel like
they hide behind you?
You saw what?
They hide behind you.
Oh, yeah, they do. Oh, they do. Because a lot of times they want to say certain things to their parents they can't say. So guess who's going to say? Jasmine gonna say, they will call me. But no, don't you feel like a lot of times parents are trying to live, or family members, everybody, are trying to live their dreams through you?
Yeah, everybody does.
And it's hard.
Everybody does. But one day you're going to be a parent and you'll probably be in the same situation. My point of view is when your child don't want to, your child don't want to, you support the dream of the child. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be the one in there. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, I have 2 kids. You know, I would wish that my kids would do something that I could help them. Because I want to be able to, you know, like, let's say we're doing this. I'm a big radio guy tomorrow. And I know this. I know the ins and outs.
You and your child.
If my son just sliding this one, he got a big... Think about it. It's like Tyler Perry's son wanting to do a movie. He can easily walk into any studio. Connection. You know what I'm saying?
We need to break the generational curse, you guys. And this is a curse.
You know?
Because we're sitting here talking about, oh, our parents did this and we're fighting against it. But in my head, I just said, oh, wait, if my daughter gets, I will force her to be outspoken. Yeah. But it's like I'm pushing my belief on her. So it's a generational curse that needs to be broken. It's
always, I don't know. It's going to be there. But
it needs to be broken.
There should be a limit. That's what I'm saying. When my son say, oh, Dad, I don't want to be a radio guy. You know, I don't think I could do radio. I don't like to talk like that. But, you know, I want to be a tennis player. You know, I want to play tennis. I want to be like a Roger Federer of tennis.
I don't know who that is, but sure. Say Serena Williams. Okay. Thank you.
And then I know that one. Yeah, Serena. I want to be Serena, you know. And then I'm thinking like, oh, God, I never played tennis in my life.
What am I going to do?
What am I going to do to help this guy? Me being a parent, I'm speaking from a parent point of view. You know, me being a parent, what can I do to help? You know, don't you think you could do soccer?
So you're
You know,
doing the same thing your dad just did to you.
So
Or
don't you think you can do soccer? And then he probably, I don't like soccer. I said, bro, man, you know soccer. Man, you watch this video. You're trying to get him to like it so you can be able to help. You know, fact of the matter is the kids don't want it. There should be a limit. When you push one, you push two, and you know the kid is like, let it go. Let it go, find a way to support the dream. Sometimes they just want to know that my father is going to be there for me. That's it. Sometimes the kids got it. They just want to be like, they go to school and they have their friends, they have their fathers being there and their mothers being there. When they are losing, they are there with them. When they are winning, they are there to share the glory. You know, that's what the kids want. It's not how you want the kids to be. Because I'm telling you, whoever thought, remember back in the day, there was I don't know, you didn't really grow up in Ghana, so there was the thing called Communication Center.
I did grow up in Ghana. My uncle owned the Communication Center.
Okay, good. You know Communication Center?
I know, my uncle owned one.
Okay, so if right now your father wanted you to go into that business,
The devil's a lie.
you know, what's that business now? It's gone.
They don't even have that. Do they still have
No, it's
Communication
gone
Centers?
because this thing changed it.
Okay, yeah.
You know, phones change it.
Everything, yeah.
You know, even calling cards. If your father wanted you to get into the calling card business, phone change it.
You would have been out of debt. You would have been in debt by now.
So what I'm trying to say is, you may think that thing is going to be there for today. It might not be there tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It might not be there tomorrow. Allow the kid to find their own way. You know, when they find their way.
Well, then they can change Communication Center to Customer Service Center.
I'm telling you, there are so many jobs. Do you know how many companies that Amazon has killed?
So many.
You know, imagine that your son, you push your son to get into corner stores and all that, and then all of a sudden, boom, Amazon hates,
Yes.
and that's it.
Amazon is a day shipper.
How are you gonna feel?
How you gonna feel as the individual or as the father?
As the father who pushed the kid to go into that business that he didn't want to go in.
Well, he'll be like, oh, my son did it. At least they'll say, oh, my son started it. And Amazon learns from my son. Depending what parents you have. Because my parent, he going to be like, oh, yeah, my daughter did it. Amazon stole from my daughter. You need to sue Amazon. That's something my dad would say. Shout out
African father.
My dad would be like, you need to sue Amazon. If you were a lawyer, you could just...
Yeah, you know, so family pressure is always going to be there, but I'm just urging families, like me included, you know, my siblings, my, you know, friends. Let's not keep pushing. You know, people have their limits. People have what they can do. You may think your son is the best in something. Probably they are not.
Oh, listen.
They know themselves. You see your son play soccer one time, it's like, oh, my son is good. He can go pro.
Oh, what?
Bro, when you,
when
you get to the park, you know, you see the professional player. He's like, my son is not even
have a seat.
You know.
But since we're talking about society pressure, and I was talking about being outspoken in society, I think behind the scene, you and I were talking about it. Society pressure and women. I want to bring that up because you're a man. I want to see the perspective. You're a father as well. Being a woman, me personally, I'm a very blunt person. A lot of times I'm going to say some things that you're going to look at me like, geez, chill. And a lot of times, and I've noticed that with my little sister as well, she takes a lot from me. Or sometimes she's more than me too. I've noticed that one thing about us is we say what we want to say. We do what we want to do. We're not trying to make another person happy. But one thing I've noticed about society, I remember I used to do radio years ago, and one of the comments I used to get was, you being a woman and speaking up so much, no man is going to find you worthy enough for them to marry. Every man wants a calm woman, a woman that, one of the things I used to hear growing up, a woman is seen, not heard. And it bothered me for years, because I noticed that even in my family, whenever I was speaking up, I was being tamed not to speak up. But whenever I look at, let's say, I'm African, okay, I'm Ghanaian. When I look at Caucasian families, I noticed that they allowed their daughters to speak, to be. But for me, I noticed one of the things I noticed was I was being tamed. I was being like, oh, a woman, you're supposed to be background. Like the statement, behind every successful man. So as a woman, I'm supposed to be behind him and not her.
That's a Caucasian statement, though.
I understand that, but let's pay attention to Africans and Caucasians. You notice that a lot of times the women, they allow their women to go out there vice president or speaker of the house, public speaking. But let's count how many women can publicly stand for something and support. Let's be honest. In the whole of Ghana, one of the only women I used to hear about that she stood for and she fought was Yasantua and her team. That's the only woman
in history.
In history, the only woman.
I could give you names though.
You could give me a few names, but there are more men that are pushed to speak up. As a woman, I remember when I started speaking up on certain issues, I was told, you need to tame it down. You need to bring it up. Maybe you can give. I remember when we used to do radio, they were like, oh, maybe you should give the idea to your partner who was a man to speak about it so that I will be looked at as the more attractive woman, a woman that will not overpower her man, right? And that's society pressure. I remember I got to a point, I started like kind of taming my voice. I was okay, maybe I should calm down a bit because I allowed them to get to me until I got to a place I was like, who cares? Right? And we see that a lot. You being a father, you being a man, what is your take on that?
You know, I don't have female kids, so I only have sons. So I don't know, but I think my sons are gonna take after me, and I can keep quiet. I'm always speaking. So I cannot even tell somebody to shut up.
Oh, because you're always talking.
I'm always talking. I tell my friends that if you don't stop me, I never stop. So try to, signal me like, hey, you got to stop. Let's be serious anyway. Females in our society.
Are you ready, ladies? Let's
go. I keep
go.
saying we cannot get rid of the society.
We can't, but we have to change certain things.
Certain things have to be changed. I believe that when you feel like a threat to people, they are going to act. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Like when you feel like a threat. Okay, so let's say you say something. You were on radio, and when you speak your opinion, they are not used to hearing females speak like that. It becomes a threat to them. Say, oh, no, this woman, no, you don't have to speak like that. People start saying, you are being threatened by them. The moment you feel like whatever you're saying is being threatened, it's piercing some people, then you know you're doing the right thing. That is just the rule. People react to things that they've never heard, especially when it's the truth. They've never heard. Nobody said those things to them. So when you say it, it hit them like it, pierce them like it, and they're like, oh, shit.
But then they start looking at you different.
You see, people will look at you the way they want to look at you. Because you could be the calmest lady. And people still going to look at you how they want to look at you.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? I just feel like you have to create your own persona, as a person, whether male or female. Now we're talking about female. As a female, create your own persona, where you want to be. Don't let somebody say that, okay, you have to be like this. Then you are living their life. They are not living to your fullest capacity, If you let somebody call somebody who's just listening to a show to decide how you speak on your own show,
but then it's not even them even calling in. I had family. Sometimes will send me a message while I'm on show, like, oh, you need to tame that down. I had one, I remember I spoke on, the one thing that even affected me, I remember years ago I spoke on something about I would not be in a relationship if he's not financially stable. And my opinion where I was coming from was I'm putting myself in a position that I will be financially stable. So if I'm with a man, he also has to make sure that he's also financially stable. And I remember the number one message I got from a family member was, oh, you sound like a gold digger. That's the reason why you're still. And at that time, I was single. They were like, oh, that's the reason why you stay single.
Oh, shit.
And I got that.
They said that's the reason why you will stay single?
I will stay single because of my mindset. And a lot of times, I'm very opinionated and I'm very controversial if that's the way. Because there's a lot of things that society has allowed women to accept that I will not accept. There's a lot of things that women are like, oh, women are supposed to just say, keep silent, just swallow it. Oh, a man is going to be a man. The key word, a man is going to be a man. Society has created that persona, that a man is going to be a man. So a man is supposed to be allowed to speak his mind that, oh, I want a skinny woman. I wanted this. But when a woman says that, you're supposed to accept what comes to you.
I just look at it this way, man. This whole thing is tough. People want to be like you. Those who cannot be like you will stop you from being you.
Facts. Preach, brother.
Like that's what I've really noticed. People who want to be like you will stop you from being you.
That's true.
Because when you be you and you live a good life, it exposes them. When they get, nobody want to be exposed. So like, they tried every ways to try to stop you from being. Me on the other side, I'm attracted to somebody that can talk. Like if you can hold conversations, like I don't really care how you look like. How people were like, I'm attracted to people that can. So me and my partner can speak all day.
But she's quiet though.
That's the point. That's what I'm getting to. So if I'm with somebody that can speak, it attracts me. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't have that problem. But the men that want to be controlling, there's some men that want to be controlling.
And women though. Let's not speak on just men. I had women also attack me.
Yeah.
I had aunties watching from Ghana calling.
The reason being is that's what they know. And I'm telling you, some of these also come from a place of love. That's why the society has designed things. The society made them feel like, Obawi, nobody will marry her. Nobody will marry her. So they don't want you to be single forever. So they're like, in their mind,
let's
they
tame her
advise,
a little bit.
so she doesn't face this kind of problems. But there's a saying that car by home, gas are not.
What does that mean?
That means the machines that are there right now, the people that operate that machine are around.
Okay, that's fact. Okay,
so it's a generational gap. In their times, women were not speaking at all. In these times, women are sharing their opinions.
But
in
there are some
homes,
women that are young that also have that same mentality.
It's always going to be there. There's always going to be our lives.
How do we change that?
How do we change that?
Because it needs to be changed. I feel like it needs
How
to
do
be
we
changed
change
so
that?
How do we change that?
We all got to do our part. I feel like people are people. It doesn't matter whether you are a female or a male. People are people. If she's a lady and she's smart, she's smart. If he's a man and he's smart. So it's like being in a relationship. Let's look at the weakness and the strength of each other. I'm not going to say because I'm the man, I have to take care of the money. I may be terrible with money.
Yeah.
And the woman is good with money. You let her take the lead. If I am good in controlling and patrolling, I'll take care of that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we should allow people to be who they are. It will take time. Not in this generation, not in the next, but it will get to a point. But you look at it from in the 2000s, it wasn't like this. Women were not vocal like this. Now women are going to school even more than men.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So things are changing. And I believe that it will get to a point that things will change. But you have something to do for yourself. You don't have to let nobody force you to do something that you do not want to do.
Okay.
If you let somebody push you to do something that you do not want to do, that's not society. That's you being dumb.
Do you feel like a lot of the society pressures are because of we're competing with one another?
Oh, yeah. Society is always going to be competition.
That's a problem.
It's always going to be a competition.
Why are we competing with one another? Why can't you just be?
And I'm telling you, society is always going to be a competition.
But then it needs to be changed because
let me give you an example.
Why are we competing with ourselves? We're all equal.
Let me give you one example. You know the kid that you started school with, the best friend that you started school with? Okay. The moment that best friend couldn't make anything out of her life.
Preach.
And then you make something out of your life.
Hallelujah.
You exposed that friend. You make that friend look like he's dumb. He don't know what to do. And you know where the jealousy starts.
But then I feel like it starts from childhood. I have a good brother of mine, Kwache, and one of the things that I've noticed him teaching his kids is he's molding his kids. He's helping his kids understand that kid may not answer questions the way you answer. That kid may not play the way you play, but you are equal.
Yeah.
Your talent and your gift can support each other. You're not better than.
It is true.
And that's one thing I'm watching him show his
It's
kids.
like the neck and the head story.
You're not better than, your leg. You're not better than your
But
arm.
you know where the whole thing is. What we don't look at it like, okay, you may have a best friend that you started school with in Ghana. And then let's use a fear. Efia and Akos. Beautiful friends. They do everything together, same school and everything. All of a sudden, Akos was able to go to high school. Efia wasn't able to go to high school. These are friends that have the same goals, right? And then Akos keep going, and then Akos have a big house. Efia is married to a drunk, and all the stuff that's going on. If Efia will not complain, if you and her are at the same level, Efia will complain, will be jealous when you are here and she's here. That's where the jealousy starts.
Oh, it's facts.
But who are you? I was even smarter than she was.
It's facts.
Who does she think she is? That thing's coming. What I'm trying to say is, it will never stop. That thing will never stop. But how do we make sure that we do not fall into that situation?
Okay, since we want to talk about children, I can, when you just use my sister's Koifia, by the way, one of the things I noticed with my sister and my sister decided to go back to college. And I made the choice that I wasn't going to go back to school. I was just going to go into business and other things that I love. And I noticed that they started pinning my sister and I together. Or against each other. It was like, oh, she's going to school.
And
she's
you don't
want to
do anything for your life.
You're not doing anything with your life. And it got to a point, it started affecting both of us. It started affecting our relationship because they became like, we are competing. When it came to business, I was ahead. When it came to her going to school, she was ahead. We started pinning, and one time we sat there, we're like, what is the point? You're doing your thing.
But you see, with all this thing, what is the goal? If she goes to school, if she goes to
it's to be successful.
What's to be successful?
But then when you go to school and you get that degree, you're looked at as the most successful one.
You see? And
it all starts with
how many people that have papers underneath their beds they want to trash?
I know somebody who has a bachelor's degree and works at the bakery shop. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I feel like we need to start. If we need to start on ourselves. Individual. You can't change the masses if you do not. One of my brother, Kwachi, he always tells me, he said, Jasmine, you can't love somebody if you don't love yourself.
Of course.
And one thing I've known, you have to make sure you work on yourself. Stop competing. Because before, I compete with myself. I'm the biggest. Like, I always compete with Jasmine yesterday. What I did yesterday, I have to surpass that.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm learning is just be.
Okay.
What will be, will be.
Of course.
I think you need to work on us. We need to stop competing because I feel like there was a point I was like, okay, by next year, before I'm 30, and I'm almost 30, but before I'm 30, I need to do this. And I haven't done it. So then it becomes stress. That's what leads to depression. It leads to anxiety. Yeah. I was diagnosed with clinical anxiety and panic disorder because I was consistently trying to.
Do you think you were forced into that? You think?
Personally, I was put into that position, and I also put myself in that position. I'm going always be accountable. I put myself in that position because I'm an overachiever. I was an overachiever. But then I feel like when I started working on myself, I realized that a lot of times the pressure that we put on ourselves, it might not even be society alone. It might be us. It might be us trying to be better than a fear that you went to school with or better than, your cousins or your siblings. For me, I used to fight for validation from family, especially parents.
Yeah.
Just to make sure, okay, my siblings are all in college. I decided not to do college. I have to make sure I'm better than them. I have to show my parents that, I got this.
I think we all need to define what is success for us.
Ooh.
Nobody can define your success for you. That's how I see it. Having my beautiful family and making sure I can keep my kids out of the street, my kids being good to the society, that is what I see success.
Same, yeah.
There are some people who see millions of dollars as success.
Yeah.
There are some people who feel like I don't even want to be in a relationship. I want to be by myself, have my millions, live life, travel around the world. That is success to them. So I think everybody have what they define as success. So I think we should define our success and live towards our success.
You don't even need to live towards anything. You just need to be.
If we
That's
are
me.
able
I
to,
think just be.
If we are able to define that, you will never be in competition with anybody.
Facts.
I'm focused on you not being in competition with somebody. Somebody can obviously be in competition with you, but you not being in there, that's on them. By you not being in there. You define your thing. You know where you are going. Like, you chose, you want to do your businesses. At the end of the day, when you're on the tree and you fall from the tree, you landed.
I land somewhere.
You know, you landed.
Somewhere.
And somebody could just use a ladder. They landed. But it depends on how you land. You know, can you take that kind or type of land?
Facts.
That's on you.
I always use the example of the dog and the turtle running a race. You know, when you're running a race, we have a starting point, we have a finishing point. The dog can get there faster. He still got to the finish line. And then the turtles, it will take the turtles some time. But guess what they did? They all got to the finish line.
Facts.
No matter what we do. We need to, but I feel like let's start from ourselves and society. And the parents, please start with your kids when they're growing. Because parents, even in a home, creates the competition.
Oh yeah, between especially the female daughters.
You know, my brother got it. Your brother got an A. Why don't you have an A? I don't have an A because my focus was not on that. Maybe that's my weakness. I don't have an A because I'm not interested in that. You know, I think we need to start paying attention because everybody has.
And it seems you're right. And it seems we only classify formal education as we use formal education as a yardstick.
Hallelujah.
And to judge everybody. We forget about character. We forget about informal education. We forget about how we treat people, you know. And it's like, just get a paper. But the paper is nothing if you cannot relate with.
What if you get the paper and die tomorrow?
Shit.
We're not going to talk about that.
You know.
No.
So
we're
it's
not
just,
ready.
it's just. I just look at it like, be a good person. That's my goal. I want to be able to impact my society that society will remember me when I'm gone.
Facts.
You know, I don't care about how many papers I have. Oh, I will get. It doesn't do anything. Because at the end of the day, when you get all these papers and you can't even fix a light bulb, what's the point of having the paper? But if I'm able to do my businesses and then I have my money, 50 Cent put it best. He said, I didn't go to Harvard. You know, I didn't even graduate high school. But I have people who went to Harvard working for me.
Steve Harvey said the same thing. He said the same thing.
You know, so it's just
be.
Just be. Don't let nobody push you. Don't let nobody push you. That's how I feel about it.
Society will put on you only what you allow them to put on you. I feel like we need to get to a place that people can just live their true self, be their true self. And I feel like start with yourself. We need to stop worrying about what everybody else will think about us. Because a lot of times I feel like that's what it boils down to. We're so concerned on what everybody would think about us. Like certain times when I'm about to do something, I'm always like, how do I sound? How do I look? And me, especially being a bigger woman, I always feel like I'm always supposed to be put in a little bit more. But when I got to a place of saying I don't care.
What do you mean when you say bigger woman?
Society considers me as plus size woman. Isn't that the tag?
Oh, okay, body-wise. Okay.
Plus size woman. No, but I'm supposed to look a certain way. But I think we need to take the pressure off ourselves and just live your true self. Yeah. If you're happy with
and you know what is funny though?
There's
always somebody who's happy the way you are.
That's true.
There's always somebody.
That's true.
Regardless of, you saying this. I remember when I started Facebook, I'm always an aggressive person. Like when I'm having a conversation, I'm trying to tone down. I feel like it's not me. I talk on top of my voice. It's not.
Me too.
It's not even there. I feel like I have a voice that when I speak is very loud. And then you speak and everybody start looking at you a certain way.
Who is that?
And they try to, but society would like to shape you, but like you said, it's you.
It's you.
It's you who allows that. It's you. They will always do it. It doesn't matter what you do. They will do it. Your church will do it. Your family will do it. The society itself, the community, everybody will do it. If you allow it, it goes. If you don't,
it doesn't. Well, that's it for today. For me, I just thank you, Kumasi Yami, for being here.
Thank you.
I just want to tell everybody, the one I want to leave with is just be. Just be happy for you. Just be yourself. Be your true self. And allow your true self to win. It's not a competition. It's not. Don't be better than anybody. Just be. I love you all, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.